On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We have a lot to talk about. Well, not really. We have major things to talk about. It's going to be a short show. You probably see that from the length. And I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. A couple things I want to really point out. And it's just something that's, I felt like it was me complaining about how, the news puts out bad, like stupid news and people talk about it, right? Like ABC put this stupid story out. I can't believe they're not talking about the truth. And I always got frustrated. And I'm like, that's stupid. Why would you complain about, the scorpion on the frog, right? Why would you complain about the scorpion just being a scorpion, right? Stung you. Of course it did. Duh. You shouldn't have let it be on your back. But then I realized I was kind of doing the same thing with content creators. I watch certain people and I'm like, God, man, they're always pushing this and that. They're always panicking. They're always, putting on the hand cream, right? Like, it's like, why? And then I realized it's like everybody's fighting for your focus. Your focus. What you focus on is what you create. Like it or not. I don't care if you believe it or don't. It doesn't matter. That's how it works. What you focus on, you create. You want to have success, you focus on success. You focus on making it past obstacles. You focus on wherever you got to go to get. You focus on that. And that's what you do, and you focus. Doesn't matter if somebody says, hey, you can't do that. You'll be like, yeah, watch me. If somebody focuses or gets you to focus, same thing. Whatever you're focused on, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're putting emotion towards. If you're worried and scared about who's going to be the next president, if you're worried and scared about whether or not the people outside of you are ever going to change, well, then you're focused on a losing path. And you're actually, believe it or not, helping that path. You're partaking in that experience, and because of focus, choosing to be a part of it. The more time you spend focusing on that, the more time you will spend in that pattern, and ultimately, if you do it enough, you'll manifest it. You'll make it real. It'll be your experience. Might be your neighborhood that's on fire. Who knows? I'm being hypothetical. Hopefully, most of you understand to think positive and stay positive. It's what I push constantly. But there is this very, very effective, strong push right now to get us scared, to get us doubting the people around Trump, that Trump doesn't know what he's doing. There is this big push to just question everything, which to a degree is good, but if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, right? Like they always say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. There's got to be a place where you yourself have said, yes, I actually think we're on the right track. This is what I think we're doing, and I'm going to go in this direction. And if anyone, says things, maybe I'll listen, but I'm not ultimately going to pay it much, or pay it no never mind, as I used to hear in the South. Because it's your focus that matters. Your focus is what they are after. Your focus is what they try to control. They create a prison in our own minds. They tell us we're trapped. They tell us we're stuck. They tell us we're going down. They tell us there's no way forward. And some people still choose that. That's the matrix, by the way. There's no thing to pull out of the back of your head, thank God. That'd be disgusting. But it's your focus that holds you prisoner. It's your focus that limits you. People have a hard time with this because it puts the onus on themselves. Yeah, it does. It sucks, but that's where it belongs. So many people sometimes misunderstand the concept of manifesting as a selfish component. And I frequently use the simplistic terms of it's like you're on an airplane and the masks fall. You've got to put yours on first or else you can't save anybody else. But ultimately, really, even more simplistic, your focus is what they're after. You are you 100% of the time. It might be easy to say, something outside of myself is so important. That's what I live for. But you'll probably find there's large amounts of the day where that's not your primary thought because there's all sorts of other things that happen. Your focus is key. And I want you guys to know I'm extraordinarily thankful for you. I'm extraordinarily thankful for this journey that we've been on. I'm extraordinarily thankful that there's so many of you that actually are paying real attention. That brings me a lot of joy. And I sometimes have to step back and appreciate what I've accomplished because, you know, I was watching my good friend Alpha. I say that my good friend. I hope we're still friends, but I mean, whatever. I think we are. I believe so. And he's huge, man. Dude's way bigger than I am. And that's cool. I love it. And I was like, yeah, a little bit jealous. And I realized I'm like, that you guys are doing different things, Dan. And that's the difference. You guys are vastly further ahead than most. I'm surprised how many of you there are. And I look forward to the growth that continues to happen. But I love you guys. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm looking forward to the music show tomorrow, by the way. Thanks and love, big part of what's going on in that show. So bring your significant other or bring your heart and your love. Be ready to cry. Have a box of Kleenex nearby because I don't know. I think it's going to be a beautiful show. I was very touched when I recorded it. It has the vibe I want it to have. And so I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. This is one I put a lot of heart into. And I love you guys. All said, let's get the little bit of show done that we got. Got some crazy stuff to talk about, but not a whole bunch. Kirill, Dmitriev, he was talking about Secretary Rubio's post. And there's a lot of this that I've been seeing. This kind of goes into the whole focus thing, right? Again, getting us to believe things and all that. But Marco Rubio posted, this story is just the latest example of a long-running series of 100% fake news reports claiming a rift inside the Trump administration over how to end the war in Ukraine. These people don't just get things wrong. They literally make things up. And Kirill responded, this is the diplomat, if you will, or the one of the spokespeople for Russia. I don't know what to call him, what his title is. But Secretary Rubio on warmongers making things up to attack the U.S.-led peace effort. 100% fake news will lose. Truth and peace will prevail. And again, this was kind of like, was the reality. And it was just a good place for me to start this show with you guys. I hope you guys don't mind the long diatribe at the beginning. But this is, again, focus. Focus is important. These are the people, I think this is the emergency room where the two people that were shot, I don't know if you've heard, probably have, the two National Guardsmen were shot, critically wounded. They're still alive that we know of at this point. Critically wounded out in D.C. Shot in the heads, I think. Prayer is what we need to send. These people getting better, seeing them walking out of the ER, being wheeled out, however you want to imagine it. Seeing that happen is the prayer to help it happen. Let's use this one instead, though. That's much better. I am thankful for each and every one of you guys, for the power you bring to the table. The power of these people holding hands, creating a circle, which, by the way, is somewhat white magic. The symbology of it's extraordinarily powerful. And the concept of prayer is always life-changing. So I ask each and every one of you to be thankful with me. Now, let's get into the shooting. Got the information we got. Donald Trump, we're going to start with him. He's pissed. We'll get into the specifics. I don't think he covers a lot of it in his speech, but this is where Trump is at this moment, and this is where I wanted to start.
Great fellow Americans, earlier today on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital. The D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you, and good night.
Amen. And again, when you think about focus and you think about the things that Trump says and how he speaks, he knows this. You don't become successful without knowing that. One thing that used to piss me off in work, I had a group, a team, and they'd come to me and tell me something's impossible that I was asking them that the customer needed. It has to happen, has to happen. Oh, that's impossible. Never tell me that. You can tell me what it takes to get there and show me why it's too expensive, and then maybe we can think differently. But don't ever tell me something's impossible. Nothing's impossible. It might be too expensive, but there's always a way, if necessary. Julio Rosas, he put this out. LE sources in D.C. tell me that the National Guardsman shooting suspect is an Afghan national who used a revolver. Not sure why the revolver part matters. I mean, it implies that this dude who wasn't even here legally was somehow able to get a firearm. Now, a lot of people are like, how did he get one of those? Well, black market, it's not hard to get stuff. DC, probably not hard to get stuff. So I had heard someone say, and I don't know if we've got any knowledge, I haven't seen anything that suggested that his mode of travel was a specific one, like air. He could have driven, could have hitched. I don't know. Could have, who knows? Maybe he's a commercial truck driver. Alejandro Mayorkas once admitted not all Afghans imported by Biden administration were vetted in person. Now, we do know, Ratcliffe has told us, that Ramunullah Lockenwall, sure, yeah, let's try that again. Ramanullah Lockenwall. Budge, you guys try that. That's hard as hell. The Afghan terrorist. Yeah, that's easier. He shot the National Guard's men. They worked with the CIA. He was a member of a partner force in Kandahar, Afghanistan, per CIA Director Ratcliffe. Dude was an E5. I don't know if this ID number, if he's any blood type. Wow, they got it all in there, huh? QSF. I don't know if this is a legit ID. I assume it is. Yeah, it's contractor's card. Blue badge, they typically would call people too, I think. But all said, we've got a lot of discussions about this. But this Afghan national, he worked with the CIA serving. I think we've got a little more information that they pulled up on Fox News. Again, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to add some time to this show. But a lot of different angles. Wanted to get a bunch of it out there.
Congressman Byron Donalds is running for governor in Florida, and he joins us now. Congressman, I don't think it's an overstatement to say that every single one of those National Guard troops walking around the city of Washington, D.C., right this second or at 9 o'clock this morning, have actually saved the lives of American citizens in that city.
It's not an overstatement. We had a hearing in the Oversight Committee a couple of months ago, and the mayor of Washington, D.C. said on the record that since the National Guard was deployed by President Trump, crime has dropped 40% in the nation's capital. 40%. Washington, D.C. has not been a safe city for quite some time. When the president was running for office, he said that he was going to make the nation's capital safe again. He deployed the National Guard. Crime plummeted in Washington, D.C. It has been working. But in spite of that fact, you have Democrat officials who have been whining and crying on TV and in any microphone open saying that it was wrong to deploy the Guard. The president is well within his rights to deploy the National Guard because Washington, D.C. is a federal enclave. It is the purview of the federal government, not just a city, not just some state. So the Guard was deployed. Crime has come down drastically. They should be applauded for the work that they've been doing. And now we have two of our National Guardsmen in the hospital fighting for their lives. The Democrats need to do an about face on this. They need to acknowledge the fact that Donald Trump was right, but bigger than that the National Guard has been a help to securing the nation's capital for everybody.
And, when we have these big debates about these literally sitting senators sitting around talking about how the orders, maybe their orders, they might think, to be deployed are somehow illegal and that they are allowed to disobey them, I always think about what those young men and women who are serving in uniform must be thinking about all of this as they try to carry out their job, that maybe what they're doing is illegal, maybe they should be disobeying their orders, and now they're getting shot at. What must be going through their minds?
I think, honestly, what's probably going through their minds is, oh, my gosh, we were here just on a simple mission given by the president of the United States. And now you have an Afghan foreign national who came into this country because Joe Biden, frankly, did one of the most stupidest things that has ever been done with the withdrawal of Afghanistan. They brought in a bunch of Afghani nationals. Nobody was truly vetted. And now you have people in our country who now are posing a threat to the National Guard. That doesn't say anything to the fact that the same Biden administration, with the support of these 6 Democrat officials and every other Democrat on Capitol Hill, allowed our nation to be wide open, where you had people from 184 different countries coming into the United States illegally. This is outrageous. So for the National Guard and our other men and women who are just trying to do their job, now they get these 6 fools who go on social media trying to make themselves look more important than they really are, to be frank with you. And now their lives are at risk. This is obscene. And this is Democrat policy, Democrat power politics that is not securing the homeland, not making sure our people are safe, and not valuing the men and women who put the uniform on every single day to protect this nation.
What should the White House and Republicans in Congress do to go back and review that program and try to figure out if there are other problems like this lurking in that program?
Well, we're doing it right now. Obviously, the deportations that President Trump has greenlighting is step 1. Step 2, obviously, was securing the country. Donald Trump has done that the second he came back into the White House. No illegal border crossings into the United States. That's a win for the American people. To my colleagues on Capitol Hill, it is time to reopen the investigations into the Afghanistan withdrawal and the lack of vetting of who came into this country. And every one of those people need to go somewhere. They don't need to be in the United States. If it's going back to Afghanistan, so be it. But now that we have 2 of our men and 2 of our soldiers in the hospital fighting for their lives, I mean, enough is enough. And I know that there are some people in the United States saying, oh, well, we didn't want to really deport everybody. The truth of the matter is you cannot have wide open borders. Wide open borders lead to our country being overwhelmed in every single aspect, including safety and security.
Well, we will be, I will look forward to seeing that investigation reopened, and we will follow it closely. Byron Donald, thank you so much.
Yeah, again, good stuff on that. Another one of the focus things I probably should have brought up. Maybe it's good I'm bringing it up now. But the other one's focus on the future. A lot of people want to know what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. I just want to give one small example on that real quick. But it's like if you're watching a movie you've never seen. If you spend the entire movie constantly trying to figure out what's going to happen before it actually happens, you're never really watching the movie, are you? You're missing all sorts of things. The moment right now is the only place we can do anything. The future has not happened yet. Anybody that tells you a future, it's a probable likely future. It is not the future because the future has not happened. You still have choices to make. I still have choices to make. That future, I don't like what you're telling me it's going to be. Let's do something different and change it. And this is where kind of the now, if you will, comes from. So again, not that these guys were doing anything incorrect. I'm just saying. Janine, I feel like they woke her up in the middle of the night or something. Poor woman. Anyways, wounded National Guards member volunteered to work that day that he was actually attacked. Janine also has some strong words, and she is the something justice or whatever of DC, whatever the hell she is. I don't know what her title is either. It's not the AG, whatever the hell.
Fortunately, today, as most families join together to give thanks for the blessings that have been bestowed upon them, 2 families are shattered and destroyed and torn apart as a result of the actions of one man. First and foremost, our hearts go out to the victims and their families. These are dedicated service members who were performing their duties in service to our nation, and they are currently in critical condition. They have undergone surgery. We pray for their well-being as they continue to be cared for in the best possible way. We have been in constant contact with their families and have provided them with every resource needed during this difficult time. The 2 National Guards men that we're talking about are Sarah Beckstrom, who's 20 years old, and Andrew Wolf, who is 24 years old. They were uniformed members of the West Virginia National Guard, and they were in D.C. to keep D.C. safe, pursuant to President Trump's executive order to make D.C. safe and beautiful. They answered the call, they took the charge, they volunteered, they put their lives on the line for people they don't even know. And that, unfortunately, is becoming a reality more and more for the members of law enforcement. Yesterday on Thanksgiving Eve at approximately 2:15, near 17th and I Streets in the northwest section of the district, near the Farragut West Metro Station, 2 uniformed guardsmen were ambushed in a brazen and targeted attack. A lone gunman opened fire without provocation, ambush style, armed with a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver. One guardsman is struck, goes down, and then the shooter leans over and strikes the guardsman again. Another guardsman is struck several times. Fellow guardsmen who were there responded immediately, engaging the suspect, neutralizing the threat, and subduing him at the scene. He was transported to a local hospital where he remains, as we speak, under heavy guard.
Yeah, so we the calamity that happened that day in DC and also in China. We'll talk about that. Hong Kong, very, very sad. That's just gotten worse and worse. I was talking to a couple Asian friends last night. There's a Japanese restaurant I like to go to. One of the ladies that works there is Japanese. The other happens to be from, I believe, from Hong Kong. She certainly speaks Cantonese, but she's not Taiwanese. She's actually Hong Kong. Or I don't know, Hong Kongese. I don't even know what the hell they call themselves, but she's from there. This is a significant day, probably in some astrological sense. They deep state's very much into that voodoo and hoodoo stuff, you know. So that said, this was an intentional attack. It was meant to accomplish something that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it didn't. We got billboards urging National Guardsmen to refuse orders from Trump administration sprouting up all over the country, but I honestly don't think that's what's going to happen. I think a lot of the people that are in the hopefully, here's the thing. Maybe this helps thin some of the wheat from the chaff, because that's a lot of what's going on right now. We're seeing it within our own families, people that are just so filled with hatred that you can't be around them because it's just nasty. Trump derangement syndrome being a great example of some of that. There's a trip to experience. Just weird. Just so full of hatred. It's like, anything else we can talk about? What about that commercial that was just on? That was cool. I love it. Let's talk about that for the next 4 hours, because fudge. You got any of that? I'd like to eat some fudge. Let's talk about that. Anything else? So they're trying to urge people not to get out, be afraid. I think the only people that are going to be afraid are the people on the left, the progressives. They're the ones that are not fighting for a cause they believe in. Most of us are fighting for our country. All this is doing is galvanizing us. Wouldn't you say? Am I wrong on that? This is turning the temperature up. It's like, I certainly pray for anybody that gets injured, and I certainly don't want to. No one else does. We all wish to be healthy and stay healthy on this path. Better way to say it. But there will be some problems along the way. God chooses who he chooses. It could be any of us at any time. What do you want to be remembered for? Pete Hegseth making a stance on this, talking about sending some more troops in.
I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen had been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America. Heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down.
Excuse
We think about them right now.
me.
One thing that other cultures will do, I know this from direct experience in a few cases. I'll give my one example, but first, they will rat out people that are fucking it up for them. And my example, and I've said this before and it's pissed people off, but whatever the case is. My housekeeper, she's Hispanic and not legal. I pay her cash anyways, always have, so whatever. I mean, you guys can be pissed at me, that's fine, I don't care. There's not like I have, if I had other options, I might consider them. The gardener I have, who the gardener originally was also not legal, so it doesn't matter. The gardener is her cousin. And she one time said, if he's not doing well, you can get rid of him. Because she was noticing some of the problems I was noticing. And then like they have this weird knack that they'll fix him the day that I'm annoyed by him. And I don't say anything. I'm just, I'll just let it happen and then get rid of him, you know. But they fix it after the point. And it's just like, all right, whatever. She's willing to sell out her own family's arrangements because she's got a pretty good deal here, and it's she does a great job. I absolutely love the job she does, and I am actually happy I'm helping her family. People can be like, you can have your opinion however you want. I don't care. Call me a hypocrite, which I don't think I am because I've never horribly said. I think there's a lot of people that work here. I think it's about behavior. I think it's about people that actually want to be a part of the system, that try to be helpful and beneficial versus those that are taking advantage. Huge difference. And so I'm not being hypocritical in any way, shape, or form. But this is something that's funny right now. You got a lot of Afghans right now. They're like one Afghani, one dude with a pistol, 357, shoots two people. Now we're all screwed. There's a lot of people that'll start narking out people because they don't want to get caught up in it, or they want to at least give themselves a chance. This Hong Kong fire thing is horrific. 65 people dead so far, as of at least the most recent I could get as of the time of filming, recording. Same thing. And I still haven't seen. I saw Tiffany come back, but I was not impressed with the actual story, so I haven't seen my girl Alice. She's still missing in action. Hope she's okay. Alice, I hope you are okay. All said. This thing going on in Hong Kong is effed up. This is a pretty good story on it. Check it out.
Where authorities say 3 people have been arrested in connection with the deadly Tai Po housing estate fire. The death toll has risen sharply, now reaching 55. As recovery and rescue operations continue, many residents still don't know if they can ever return home.
We bought this apartment more than 20 years ago. All of our belongings were in this apartment. And now that it is all burned like this, what's left? There's nothing left. What are we supposed to do? Now the fire of Block 3 has subsided, but Block 1 is still on fire. I do not know if I can return home tonight.
Actually, our major challenge is the temperature is very high in the fire ground, and the inside layout is very complex because the scaffolding is collapsed.
We have reason to believe that the company's responsible parties were grossly negligent, which led to this accident and caused the fire to spread uncontrollably, resulting in major casualties.
Police say they've arrested 2 directors from the construction company and an engineering consultant on suspicion of manslaughter. Officials say dozens of people were found dead at the scene, with more victims pronounced dead at the hospital. They say the blaze spread rapidly across 7 towers, fueled by flammable renovation materials. Police say the buildings were covered with bamboo scaffolding, protective mesh sheets, and plastic that did not meet fire standards. And windows on one unaffected building were found to have been sealed with a foam material that could easily catch fire. Rescue crews say intense heat is making it harder to reach the upper floors of 2 of the buildings. The fire department says 1 firefighter has died in the line of duty.
Yeah, a lot of people will be found dead after all is said and done. There's a whole bunch of missing people. This is catastrophic. It's really, really, really bad. And again, happens the same day we have 2 National Guard people shot in D.C., at least the same date, I believe. Obviously, different parts of the world. And it's interesting that it's Hong Kong and D.C., both with strong affiliations to the Crown. So, yeah, probably leave it there. We've got a Democrat, Republican neck and neck in a Tennessee special election. If any Tennesseans are out there, favorite thing when I lived there is I'd tell them I was from California, and they'd ask me if I knew somebody that was out here. And I'm like, the county I come from is the same population as your entire state. Trying to get them to understand that no, if you bump into anybody like more than 15 miles from your house, like that's weird. Like it's just like, whoa, dude, what are you doing here, man? That's crazy. Like use your neighbor. Yeah, but seeing them there, no, it's crazy. That never happens. Never happens. Like I remember when I'd go to the mall in Knoxville, I'd see all sorts of people I knew. It tripped me out. I was like, shit, there's everybody from my town. Crap. Hey, no, don't recognize me. I'm here doing, I don't know what I was there for. Probably eating a food court. It was pretty cool. And then watching a movie maybe. That was times. There was a dry county. I had to drive like to another county to actually get alcohol. I mean, there was beer. They'd chain it up on Sundays. Again, that might be right. Some of you guys, I know, I get you. That was just weird to me. It's like, wait, what? You can't buy, huh? What? It was illegal to buy beer and wine, I guess, if I remember, on, or any alcohol, I think, on Sunday in that county, anyways. It's all good, though. Not trying to, hey, you know, that's what Jesus would do, I guess. So, yeah, neck and neck. Oh, shiz. I didn't give the where it was. I was trying to find it, and I wasn't really paying attention. Van Epps, and then the other person's last name is Ben. So Van Epps and Ben are running to replace Green in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. All right, so get out there and vote for the Republican guy, please. It seems to be neck and neck. You guys are going to lose a county there in Tennessee. You're talking the tough talk, but you got to walk the rough walk. We've got, what's her name? Macary's the dude. I thought that was this is going to sound really bad, but that Bhattacharya guy, when I first saw him, I'm like, that's that Bhattacharya dude, isn't it? No, it's actually Dr. Marty Macri. And that's going to seem racist to a lot of you guys. I'm just telling you that's how I went through that experience. Sorry. That's Macri, though, just so you know.
Anthony Fauci, who I think, we were just joking that he was the patron saint of Wuhan. But really, he was given a pardon by Joe Biden in his final days before he left the presidency. Why do you think that was?
Well, I don't think Tony Fauci is going to be sending me a Christmas card this year. We had massive disagreements through the entire course of the last 4 years. And look, I think he gave a lot of bad advice. I think he was involved.
Dr. Macri does a really, really good job on this, talking about how Fauci's toast. Fauci's tied up in all of this misinformation and non-information and bad information. He was the one that was malformation czar, if you will.
Anthony Fauci, who I think, we were just joking that he was the patron saint of Wuhan. But really, he was given a pardon by Joe Biden in his final days before he left the presidency. Why do you think that was?
Well, I don't think Tony Fauci is going to be sending me a Christmas card this year. We had massive disagreements through the entire course of the last 4 years. And look, I think he gave a lot of bad advice. I think he was involved, regardless of what you think of his positions, insisting schools shut down for nearly 2 years, shutting kids out of school, pushing COVID vaccine mandates, pushing COVID vaccine boosters in young, healthy individuals, not talking about the risks of myocarditis or any other evidence of vaccine injury, censoring Americans, pushing cloth masks, giving people a false sense of security. All the areas where we disagreed, put that aside. We can have a disagreement. We should have an open discourse on those things. One thing that's extremely obvious that very few people realize, and certainly hardly anyone in the medical establishment where I come from realized, is that he was involved in a massive cover-up of the origins of COVID, a massive cover-up. Whether or not he was involved in the experiments or funding the experiments that led to the origins of COVID, he was clearly 100% involved in the cover-up, and that all came out in the film Thank You, Dr. Fauci, which goes through it all.
These were the deep state players. These were the ones that were trying to initiate the change, that what they wanted to happen. If they could have began schooling children at home from that point forward, at first some of the parents were freaking out at some of the weird stuff that was happening, but then most people it just became normal. So now they're MK Ultra literally programming your kids. Again, it's whatever it's called nowadays, but the same concept. They've just gotten way better at it. So they were going to literally do it through a device, computer, whatever, TV screen, doesn't matter. Flickers and all the things and the people that are there and the programming they teach, it would have been controlled by a tiny percentage of people. Right now, you've got millions of teachers all over the place that have their own opinions. Daggum teachers. That saves us probably to a large extent. Now, I may not be super positive on teachers just because the teachers union really pisses me off. So it's hard. Like if you're part of that teachers union and oh my God, I might get in trouble. I know. I don't know how you navigate that because you're the one that's got to sleep with that, not me. I was a Teamster for a short period of time. Outside of that, have I ever been in a union? My mom, my parents, my dad. Well, my dad was, my brother, all those guys. They've all been in unions heavily. I come from a union family. My dad hates them. Everyone else loves them. Or my dad hated them. I don't know anymore. My dad's like so liberal now. It's weird. The most common neurodegenerative diseases, some of the causes. This was a really long, interesting article. There's a lot of fun stuff. One of the things that affects Alzheimer's is the glucose hypometabolism, and that is insulin resistance. It's what I've been talking about with Feel Great. It's literally now showing up in an article. This isn't something that they shared with me. I found this on my own. They're calling it type 3 diabetes. That is what so many people are sick with. And it manifests over time depending on how you eat. Maybe sometimes you eat certain ways. Like me, who knows? I eat sometimes like I shouldn't. I paid the price, man. Man, I had those fake, those Dorito-made taco shells. They're delicious. Tastes like a friggin' Dorito, like you're eating a taco in a Dorito. I ate all 12 of them. I broke some of them up and used them to scoop up the remnants of the food. But yeah, that was so much chemical shock to my body. I literally, for 2 days, 48 hours, fucked up my sleep, fucked up my ability to process food, messed me up bad. And it's one of those things where it kind of pays a price. Got a little bit of heartburn, but that was actually like the least of my problems. It was crazy. I know it when I eat something I shouldn't. Some people don't have that sensitive a connection with their own bodies. They might not realize that every time they eat a certain thing or certain particular product that they get weird. I'm like ultra sensitive. I pay attention because it matters. I've known this a long time, so I pay attention. I know what happens to me for a reason. So I'm always curious what's happening to me and why. And that's just literally, that's how I live all the time. That's my now, is anything that needs to be addressed is why. And all right, let's address this and let's see if we can put an end to it or make more of it. There's a lot of stuff I love that's going on in my life. Not mostly, there's some fun little weird things, but yeah. So we've got a problem with the foods we eat for the most part. That's really the simple answer. I drink too much, right? I like it. I don't want to stop. I could. I have. I don't want to. I enjoy it. I don't try to be like crazy. I don't try to do irresponsible things. Like I try to keep it within, functioning, I guess. Whatever. But this actually has helped me from that standpoint because alcohol actually gets processed like a carbohydrate, and it's what creates a lot of the weird weight issues I'll have, or even I think some of the gas issues I have, even for that matter. I don't know. It's tied into the parasites too. It's just a weird mixture of things I'm doing. But this Unicity stuff has been tripping me out. It's played a huge part. It's designed for insulin resistance. And again, I haven't done the balance yet. I still haven't. I'm going to. I'm just afraid it's going to literally like kill my appetite. And it's one thing I'm a little like nervous about, like, because how much. So I'll try it and it'll be interesting to see. I'm not going to do it on Thanksgiving today. That would be stupid. But yeah, tomorrow I'll try it out because I'll probably be overweight tomorrow and I'll totally want to do it. But this has actually helped me with my cravings. It's helped me with, I think, the way I'm processing stuff. When I step on the scale, it's been different than what I'm used to, especially knowing what I just did the day before. Drinking, typically. Like, there's an effect that typically has on me that I can expect. That was actually lessened. And it was weird. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe it's coincidence, but it's a trip. Insulin resistance is something that a lot of us are affected by. This particular product, that's like what it's geared for. One of the reasons, this company's awesome, by the way, feel great. They have a whole bunch of cool products. And once you get registered under this, for sure, and if I fall in love with another product, I'll start sharing it with you guys. But whatever it is, this is amazing. And this will actually change your whole, if you're 10 pounds overweight or more, you should definitely be looking at this. If you are diabetic in any way, shape, or form, you should definitely be considering this. You don't have to do anything different. You don't even have to talk to a doctor because it's not medicine. It's this yerba mate stuff. They mix it in with water. It tastes delicious, and it just helps with cravings. And it's got a little bit of caffeine in there, teeny bit, but it just gives you some energy too. But it helps with your cravings. And it's giving your body this weird nourishment, and it helps you stay in ketosis longer. So it's doing all these things for you. And all you're doing is just spending the effort shaking the thing or whatever, because it doesn't mix super easy, but it does mix. You just, that's part of my workout in the morning is the stirring, and then, after about 30 seconds of stirring, it's ready to go. I could put it in a blender and then dirty something else, right? Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just putting it in the cup and I stir it up, and that's good enough. And then good. And it's delicious. I told you before, the lemon one tastes like that Crystal Light, that iced tea, with lemon flavored iced tea. It was fake back then, but it just tastes like that. It's delicious. This is how you can actually make a huge difference. There's a great little video I want to share with you guys. It's 1 minute long, and then we'll move along to the last bit of this great show. Check it out.
If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away, listen up. There's a simple daily protocol they don't want you to know about that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health. Up to 88% of Americans potentially suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great protocol is a simple 2-step daily system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. Step 1. Unimate, a powerful yerba mate extract clinically shown to boost mood, increase mental clarity, and support fat burning. Step 2. A patented fiber matrix called Balance. Taken before meals, it helps regulate blood sugar, curb cravings, and support healthy insulin response. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body actually understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, sugar cravings, gut health, systemic inflammation. This isn't a trend, it's a transformation. Start today to reclaim your health with the Feel Great Protocol.
Dude, stuff's awesome. Awesome. So anyway, otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com. And they got a great video here if you want to learn more about it as well. It's a great product. It's incredible. It deals with a whole bunch of stuff that most of us are having issues with. otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com. Very good stuff. Donald Trump talking about the United States and the G20 thing in Africa. China didn't go. We didn't go. I feel like there was a few other countries that didn't go. And he basically wants to call these doucheholes out. So the United States did not attend the G20 in South Africa because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners and other descendants of Dutch, French, and German settlers. To put it more bluntly, they are killing white people and randomly allowing their farms to be taken from them. Perhaps, worst of all, the soon-to-be out-of-business New York Times and the fake news media won't issue a word against this genocide. That's why all the liars and pretenders of the radical left media are going out of business. At the conclusion of G20, South Africa refused to hand off the G20 presidency to a senior representative from our U.S. Embassy who attended the closing ceremony. Therefore, at my direction, South Africa will not be receiving an invitation to the 2026 G20, which will be hosted in the great city of Miami, Florida next year. South Africa has demonstrated to the world they are not a country worthy of membership anywhere, and we are going to stop all payments and subsidies to them, effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Or a big giant middle finger to South Africa. That didn't go well for them at all, did it? Putin says Russia doesn't want to attack Europe and that it's laughable and a total lie. Suggests that they are crooks telling this to the population to increase their ratings and serve the military-industrial interests. They're literally trying to make it sound like Russia's got all these imperialistic goals. They haven't. Europe's had an issue with Russia forever because they got a bunch of land, a bunch of oil, a bunch of resources. Europe's always wanted that. So Europe has always tried to take it and do it by getting Russia to attack or whatever, or blame them, make them the Baba Yaga. So this is, still happening, and then we'll continue. Trump orders accuses Democrats of enabling Mexican cartel crimes. Big time going on down there. We've got actual thoughts, too, that farmers and truckers are blockading roads. They think Claudia Sheinbaum is actually working with the cartels. This makes a lot of sense, considering the big picture. And so I think we're going to see this playing out. Trump, again, has a lot of military aircraft in a reasonably close proximity to a lot of stuff. Not to mention Mexico's already right next to our border, so it's easy for us to use all of our bases. Something's going on there. I don't know which side Claudia's actually on. I kind of feel like she's on the good side and playing a tricky role because the cartels do, in fact, run Mexico and have, and pretty much run, I think, most of South America, frankly. It's probably what's happened to Brazil. Cartels finally took control. So we have this transition that's happening, and it's not simple, but it's happening, and we're seeing examples of that. So Tom Homan is backing all this up. We're doing a good job. U.S. Adoptions from abroad have declined significantly. Back in 2009, I said that really confidently, didn't I? 2009, say it that way. There was 12,700 children that were adopted internationally. Or we could use other words than adopted, but we'll keep it safe for all audiences. The figure now has dropped to about 1,200 in 2024. Now, Trump, 2025, can you imagine how low that number's probably going to be? 2024, it's 1,200. It was even Biden times. So this crackdown on what they've been doing with children is getting better. Now, they probably are doing it in different ways. This would indicate to me, because I don't think they've actually gotten out of the business, but they certainly dropped it by what? It's over 1,000%, basically, right? 100%? No, 100%. Yeah. That still doesn't sound 10%. 10%, I guess. No. Anyways, whatever. They should add another zero. That should be 100, I think. Anyway, I'm just being stupid right now. It's okay. I can accept that. It's Thanksgiving. I might have already indulged a little. All said, we are waking up. We are changing. We are the change. Careful what your focus is. Careful what you're asking others to focus on. Be a part of the increase in energy, not the decrease in energy. Hopefully that makes sense. We actually make a huge difference. And that took me a long time to really appreciate. Thank you guys. I'm extraordinarily thankful for you. I would be nothing without you guys. Where we go one, we go all. Happy Thanksgiving. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.